It has been quite a while since I have had a game truly show me what I have been missing out on. I've been continuing my first playthrough of Final Fantasy XIV only to be reminded of the joy of grouped content and why it is so good for this genre. I mean, technically I am playing an MMO, right? Well, I got to experience that critical aspect firsthand again, and it has quickly become my favorite thing here in Final Fantasy XIV. Thus far, of course. And here's what happened. So we pick up our journey back in Gridania, where we are helping the sylphs locate their kidnapped elder, which I'm straight up calling an old cabbage because, well, it's an older elder cabbage. Nothing clever here, folks. Well, it turns out that there were some sylphs spotted in the South Shroud, but that is not normal. So I go poking around and out pops a bunch of garlic bread people.
How are you?
Yes, I mean the Garlean Empire people, but I've internalized it as the Garlic Bread Empire. Buscarin, the bartender, is confused because the whalers, which are the guards in this parts of the Twelve's Woods, have already been on high alert, but the Garlic Bread Empire is still coming through along with some of the sylphs. I wanted to take a moment to highlight that if I said this to any non-gaming person or outside of context, I would be institutionalized immediately.
How could this happen to me?
Like I sound crazy what I'm talking about here. Buscarin has an idea of the suspected traitor, and he thinks that it's one of the whaler guards. This person is all of a sudden being able to afford big drinks and a party and stuff like that, which apparently the whalers don't pay jack shit. So they're basically a 9-to-5 job at like your local Wendy's. One of their guards, Lauren Tias, but I gave up like halfway trying to pronounce his name, so I just call him Lauren, is the main suspect. So we go and track him down and start investigating him. He calls for help and we get a single garlic soldier to appear. And literally my warrior is a brick shithouse, and I'm quoting from someone from stream. It's like I'm a tank. So I don't know what this Garlic Empire soldier was hoping for. But again, we have to chase down this guy, which this guy gets dirtier than a pig in a trash pile. Oink. We finally confront him for the final time, I hope, and he admits that he has been selling out the whalers maps and patrols to the Empire so that, wait, I'm just going to stop right here and just say that this is like the 3rd or 4th soldier that we like cannot trust because they sell out their patrol routes for like Gil and stuff like that. What the hell happened to Honor?
Honor died on the beach.
Well, he calls out his garlic bread friends who appear to be in cohort, of course, with this dweeb. And he's like, haha, this is a trap for me. I safely remind him that the armor that encases me is not for my protection, but for his. We are joined by some of the good whalers and a few wild hunters to take down the traitor Lauren. And then of course Lauren gets regretful and he says thank you. It's as if a veil has been lifted from my eyes. Nope, that wasn't a veil, you asshat, that was my fist. Speaking of fist, Galactic has moved on to boxing as his workout routine through this playthrough, so that's a new development. Scary. Okay, well now we head back to Buscarin to follow up, and apparently Lauren already turned himself in, which is kind of surprising. We just let this criminal be like, okay, you go and do the right thing, and he's like, I will. That doesn't add up. Well, we find out where the elder is being held captive, and Papa Meow and Reverse Pants appear to come up with a plan. It seems that he is being held in the bottom of a dungeon of some sort, and now we have to go and rescue him. Yay! Yida gets the twin adders to help, and Papa Meow tries his herbalist skills to fix the broken flying cabbage. Galactic, however, has different plans for me. Apparently, I need to unlock the most important part of Final Fantasy XIV, and that is the dyes and glamour.
Yes, Queen, slay!
Slay your enemies! Raise up your army!
I legit have been told that this is arguably the best part of Final Fantasy XIV, but to be honest, that same sentiment was also said about the Guild Wars 2 fashion community. Well, I meet Swigum, and I have to go and get her orange juice for her so that she'll let me use colored dyes, which that kind of seems like a weird gateway. Like, why couldn't I just use the dyes? But it's not like I had to travel to like 100 miles to get this rare orange juice. Nope, it was 20 feet away. Like this lazy son of a bitch. Okay. I decide that I want to make my whole outfit red because I thought it looked pretty damn awesome. Then Galactic hits me with this line.
Be the fire hydrant.
I was so damn excited to have my colors matching, and I get pinned as a giant fire hydrant. I hate this. I hate this game. This is ruined.
No way.
I feel insulted.
No.
I'm betrayed.
Not this time.
It's fiction.
So we talked to the lazy Swigamaroo to unlock Glamour, which for non-Final Fantasy XIV players and people is basically how transmogrify your gear for fashion's sake. Now for her to cooperate, she needs me to get a blood orange juice, which is literally 20 feet in the other direction. It's right there. She gets her juice and does her happy juice dance, but gets a little too close in my opinion. First you insult me and then you want to kiss me? Say less, queen. Well, I unlock Glamours, but as of right now, I have the best look in the game, so why do I need to change? Galactic then tells me there's one last thing that I need to unlock, and it is in Limsa Lominsa. I end up running past this Hrothgar and had to let him know that his look is superior and he was on fire. I love it. Well, we get to the Drowning Wench and we grab a quest about some madman that's assaulting the good people of Limsa. So I go out to see this Lala Fel who wants me to obliterate this very tall man. Apparently she's waiting for the esthetician, and I probably said that wrong, and basically has been saving and taking all of her money that was meant for her kids and her family to get this new look. So I have to slash doubt this guy, and basically dad screaming at this guy in soldier speak. And then this drama queen starts acting like he's dying. Like, well, like literally, like words killed him, I guess. All the while, Galactic is in the background trying to figure out gravity. The pageant queen now wants me to go to literally each one of the major cities to gather certain things for him so that he won't die. And then Galactic shows me his cool macro. I say nothing and I walk away. So I visit each of the people in the cities that he requested me to go and look, and it appears that he has had this problem before. This guy's a hairdresser, and I am now his errant bitch. Damn it, why do I need to do anything from this guy? I mean, my guy has no hair, and guess what, baby? The helmet stays on the whole time. So I get back and turn in all the stuff from the guild member guys, and this guy just goes absolutely insane. I mean, look at this cutscene. Like, I freaking lose it because this guy is a straight up anime character going wild. Now he wants to cut my hair. Two things, chief. First, go yourself. Two, you can only cut my hair if you think you can do so without getting grievously injured. I'm sorry, the helmet and the armor absolutely make this cutscene. Like, he gives me his calling card and then Trolla rolls off into the distance while the disgruntled Lalafell lady chases him down. I see Galactic pretending to be a gorilla. Anyway, moving on. On stream, I immediately call Galactic out because he called me a fire hydrant, and now I can't unsee it. Chat all agree immediately too, which tells me that I ain't getting no damn respect in this house. Anyway, joining back with the main scenario quest, I now have to dive into the malls of Total Rock. So I grab up some of the following entourage, and here we go. Chat starts telling me all about the limited job, the Blue Mage, and honestly, I kind of like the idea of it. It seems like it has great capabilities for solo play, but really not for group play. It doesn't do enough to my understanding. But now, many times I play on my own, but I think I would be interested in seeing more of the different classes after I get through A Realm Reborn and following up with some of the ones that I missed. I do want to, of course, first and foremost, primarily be the warrior tank and do my first playthrough as that job, but I also want to see the capabilities of like the Dragoon or maybe a Black Mage. We get to the bottom of this dungeon and we see Hawkmoth, but this guy's like having trouble speaking because his sentence structure just doesn't add up. Askian's name is Lala Bray, but chat gets the autocorrect from his real name, which is Lala Bread. Maybe this guy actually is related to the Garlic Bread Empire. No idea. Well, he turns around and zaps a dust mite crawling on the wall, and it turns into a massive scorpion because that makes sense. Well, the scorpion goes down faster than a chunky kid on a seesaw. And at the end of the dungeon, I love that my warrior does the whole Napoleon Dynamite fist pump for victory. Well, I get another cutscene from the Elder Frixio, and honestly, Frixio's giving me those Disney grandma vibes. But then we get a vision of the past in the Darth Vader tribute band, and it shows them messing around in the 12's woods outside where the flying cabbages live. Well, we return to Buscarin, who gives us some oil to smooth things over. Really, we are doing all this to avoid them from summoning their primal, which is Ramu, and I had to be corrected because it's not Rama, which that's how it's spelled, and it looks exactly that. His name is actually Ramu with a beard. And yes, chat coerced me into memorizing this. I really do have to make a quick note that they give Papa Meow probably the worst camera angles in this game. They really give him that Uppies vibe. But we talk peace with the cabbages and they hint at the dark one in the road, which seems to be the jerk who was at the bottom of the dungeon we just did. But we actually get to see an actual item being handed from one character to the next. And if this is your first time watching my playthrough here, I've made a comment every single time they hand an item, there's nothing in the hands. Well, there's an actual piece of paper. FFXIV is actually holding a piece of paper. So the budget obviously increased at this point in the story. Well, Ramu does in fact have the grandest of beards that I have ever seen, but he seems to be one who's really just about like, hey, leave me alone so I can do my own thing, and I'll leave you alone, which is pretty cool, so that things work out, but it doesn't really explain the abductions that have been reported. Also, we go full Temple of Time Legend of Zelda to get a new crystal for our collection. Now that's 3 out of 6, and we're halfway there. For what, I have no really idea, but I'm just gathering them. It's like a Pokemon gym badge. We tell the Twin Outer Guard captain everything, and he says that we shouldn't have to worry about the rotten produce anymore. We get back to the Waking Sands to hear Minfilia talking to our angry twin Aquanaut, and just look at this little smug bugger. And he like struts right past and doesn't say anything. My character makes the, I think I heard something. Who was that? Hello? Face. I at least think that's what his face sounds like. Well, anyway, we discuss some of the next targeted primals, and there's really not much going on. But the masked man has been appearing all over the place a few times, specifically in Ul'dah, which is starting to be a problem. The main issue that this guy is doing is that he's taking people's amplified emotions and turning them against their friends and forcing them to fight Cat Noir and Ladybug to defend oh, wait, wrong story. Well, I'm sorry, that was a really specific reference I've probably done thus far. Well, I rant about sponsorships, that I won't follow products that I don't believe in, but I am here outside of the Dry Bones camp with some backup dancers, and I need this Lala Fel to help me find the Lala Bread guy. Interesting. We questioned the local merchants, and it seems like they are all saying the same thing. They have been seeing the bread guy here, but, you know, they really couldn't point him out. We go to this area to investigate a point of interest, and it causes the single foot soldier to spawn to stop me. You really gotta say that these people really don't know how to manage anyone. I mean, you're sending a lone soldier against my brick firehouse hydrant guy one-on-one. Like, look, I took down a literal god, and you're just gonna like, yeah, let's just send Kevin, the intern. Yeah, he'll be fine. He's fine. Well, someone deletes him before I even get a chance to finish him, and now the Lala Fel sends us to his boo Hihihara at Alamigo, which I read this initially as Hihigra at All Amigos. So enjoy that. I just leveled now, so I'm able to get to my next steps of the warrior questline, and he's talking about this super powerful armor again, meeting his brother, and of course we're still under the waterfall, which is quite romantic. If you ask me. Well, he says that there's a giant sandworm in the Sagoli Desert that needs to be tamed. First we meet under a waterfall, and now I gotta go tame your worm. That's a very specific quest. Gorge. Ooh. Oh boy, it's getting steamy. I discover gravity, and I also find out that I can't die from fall damage while in combat, so that's pretty cool. I still had 100 HP. So I venture out into the desert to play Dune and summon a mass wormy boy. In the midst of all the Tremors reenactments, one of my followers of the entourage kills the worm. I immediately say no. This is not okay. It's okay if you want to follow me, but I have to struggle on my own and fight the mobs. If not, y'all can't follow me. Well, we get back to our curious boy under the scenic waterfall, and we get this line. In felling the raging sandworm, the beast within you slowly but surely rouses to wakefulness. I mean, how else am I supposed to take this line? I unlock the beast gauge as my new class mechanic, and it replaces my defiance effect. I build up rage using my normal ability combo, but then I get some amplified abilities. So this is actually pretty awesome, not gonna lie. It's like a builder spender kind of thing that you do passively. Well, we get back to Tres Amigos, and I talk to this very angry warrior who basically tells me that I'm not wanted here. Like, what a jerk. But I would like be super mad too if I had that head of hair. Bald and beautiful baby! Chad informs me that I haven't done my Battlebird quest yet, so away I go. Jumping back to Gridania, I run into the South Shroud to this outpost. This lady, like, apparently smells me from a distance and ascerns that I have a pet bird. Like, that's a really specific trait to have, to be able to smell that on someone. Like, damn, she got a sniffer, don't she? Well, she sends me to Luke a lot, which autocorrects to Ukulele in my mind. In Gridania, well, I have to do some gardening for him, and now I can summon my Chocobo, Little Espresso, out to fight with me. Not gonna lie, this is a pretty damn cool experience, especially because of how my daughter loves the fact that I named this little bird over her, future YouTube channel that she wants. Well, we kill some of these not gorillas and now have a mounted combat buddy. Well, kind of. It's like a companion. For as long as I have Cabbage. And also, she has a massive inventory space. This is awesome. I do want to take a moment and say that this is actually a really cool feature. And it adds like an extra layer of customization for sure, but allows you to tackle some different mobs with some assistance. I love that, especially in kind of like an open world style type of combat. Well, back in All Amigos, we deliver some tea to the lookouts so they will spill the tea. 2 out of the 3 are useless, but then the Lalafell, of course, comes through and identifies one of the masked men in the crowd moving through All Amigos. Well, we get back to the guard captain. He says that I won't be able to get any help here from the natives without some assistance from the natives. Great. Another long trek back to the Waking Sands. Pray you return. But actually, this is very fast because I have these tickets to the Waking Sands and you just click them and there we go. Minfilia says that she has a lead, but then gives me a quest reward for some super hefty legs. I mean, look at these chonkers. Then I try to make them like dance. Like, look at these massive pillars. Good God, these things are huge. Remember, folks, thick thighs save lives. Minfilia directs us to talk to a scion who is also Alamegan and who should help us get their trust. And we run into this dude and immediately he reminds me of Venjent the YouTuber. I've actually included a link if you want to see some amazing drum and bass music, but it's like created by using random sounds. Anyway, he bounces us back to Allbred in Gridania, where they're must not have a gluten allergy in this game, who was a lover scorned by our cosplaying Neo back at the Waking Sands. We then talk to Mifrid, which I am just going to say, like, why do these, what are this chest piece? This doesn't make sense. This armor is just strings. My Christian eyes! The sweaty grandpa sprints up to us and says that one of their comrades is dying and I need to save him. I'm dressed like a fire truck and I suppose I'm ready for all emergencies. At this time, I also get a laugh out of Charlene's line about the Woods bounty. And it turns out that we were denied the Woods bounty.
I think we all know where this is going.
My friends asked me to help because apparently I'm the only one whole damn world who actually does anything. I have to do everything. So we have to grind up some antelope horns. So I purged the woods with my little espresso, getting all the horns that I need. Well, Mifrid also mentions that I need to go see our buddy Puskarin. I have to run all the way back there for the antidote for the poison. Luckily, he had them ready because this happens frequently. I don't understand why you people just don't solve your own problems. Like, why do I need to go in this? Why do you make the brick tank do everything? Well, we have to talk to everyone in town before we go out and get the poison friend, but like, why didn't we do that first? Like, remove him from the woods and then get him the medical attention that he needs? Why do we just leave him out there for so long? Just saying, terrible friends. Well, we get this little cutscene and we see him drunkenly standing there in a cave, but then sobers up as soon as we gets there. Like, his boss shows up and he's like, oh, I'm not drunk. Oh, everything's cool. Well, back in All Amigos, the message proves successful with the big angry stash, and now we are able to talk to the young people there because apparently they had been spotted messing around with the Shadow Man, which is honestly, like, I heard this and it made me think of this line from Princess and the Frog.
Won't you shake a poor sinner's hand?
Basically, it seems like these youths know something, but they aren't telling. And it seems like they have some kind of deal with the bread boy, and they are planning something. Well, the leader of the youngins now wants to speak to me just outside of the cave where there's no witnesses. Like, how many times do I have to overpower someone and overpower these guys before they realize that they can't take me one-on-one? Well, 2 of the youths show up to make me eat my words. Oh no, not a 2v1. I literally slice these guys in half, but like they fall to their knees like, oh, you got me, I'm knocked out. Like, no, you're not. You're decapitated. That's the correct term you're looking for. Wilfred panics and then says that he's getting the power to take out the Empire, whatever that means. Well, we talk to the big angry bear and this young woman appears. She seems disheveled, only to find out that the Corpse Brigade kidnapped her, and she says they did something to her, and their comrades laughed the whole time.
Wait a minute.
Every single angry dad fiber in this metal shitbox is quaking right now. It's one thing to summon the literal gods of destruction, forgivable, but doing unspeakable things to a young maiden, caffeinated crazy mode engaged. The bear bear tells us to talk to the Alamegan youths because they found out what happened to the girl and they are surely going to react. That is true. They assaulted the whole damn Amalja camp where the corpse brigade is. Like you're dumb. You're dumb and you should feel dumb. They were rushing off to avenge this girl and find crystals to summon a god of destruction, because the masked man told them all this information. Like, and nobody decided that, hey, maybe we should take this with a grain of salt. Should we not trust this dude? It's basically like they trusted the pop-up sign that says hot singles in your area. Yeah, the hot singles in your area are actually hot dogs at your local 7-Eleven. That's right, they're all just wieners. I just gotta say, I impressed myself with that joke, actually. Well, the Amalja dragon statues come charging out at us, and I have to point out that the bear shows off his spear, but then this other Alamegan just like holds up a stick like, I got it! It's just a damn stick against some dragon statues. We fight a couple of these guys, and then some tempered guys show up, which, if you remember, those are the ones who have been sneezed on, or at least what I hope is sneezed on. We rush off to 3 amigos and talk to Gundabad again. Wilfred spills all the beans, and he was just trying to avenge everyone by using the god of destruction to get rid of the Empire, so they could reclaim their town for their own. But like, did nobody question the shadowy guy? Well, Wilfred knows nothing about Hawkmoth, and it shows, or where the garlic bread guy ran off to, so we have no leads to go on, and yet we still have to report back to Memphiliad, completely disappointed. Tartaru throws some shades at the lead scion and then Scooby-Doo's it on out. The next lead on Bread Boy is something going on in the North Shroud. In Gridania, like, guys, again, why do we have to go and do the legwork, like, for communication to talk all the people? I feel like that one friend who has to carry a handwritten note between two kids who actually like each other, and it's like, well, do you like me? Sign here, and then it's like they give them to the friend and then they have to run over there. That's what I felt like. Well, Naraxi tells us to head to the Shroud and question Murad, one of the townsfolk, because they all seem kind of scared because they've been seeing weird one-eyed creatures. The Murad has to be soothed, but look at this animation. Like, this is just too perfect. Well, we're trying to figure out all these young women are going missing, only for their bodies to turn up later with their faces ripped to shreds. It's kind of gruesome. And then I do a quick emote battle with Galactic. Well, Adine says I should go and look out for some of the Ziz in the area. The Ziz, Z-I-Z, is literally their name. So I go and kill some of these massive raptor giants, and I'm not gonna lie, like, these things would be terrifying to see in the wild. Adine has a laugh because they are only kidnapping beautiful young maidens, so she's like, I'm first on the list, right?
I'm sorry, little one.
Well, her buddy says go right into the area in the same spot where they saw the flying eyeball monster, and I nearly catapult myself off this cliff and die because Galactic was distracting me with animations. We check out the rock where this giant flash and moan was being heard, and it's literally just some rocks. Like, why am I wasting time here, guys? Come on now. And then literally Adine says, yeah, I am wasting my time. Oh, you guys are killing me. If Varalt, a tall elf dude, says that there's no way that he could have gotten a giant scorpion mixed up with a giant flying eyeball. They use their power of deduction to say that there's probably more than one. Then they high-five each other, say good job, and say, hey, good luck figuring it out. Like, these guys were absolutely no help. Go look where the monsters have been seen and see if you can't find a body. Like, what the hell, man? This game just got really dark. Well, I do look behind a rock, and I find a body.
Jackpot!
And a giant floating eye. Was this really that hard? Well, I nearly two-shot the booger, and then I scoop up this body and put it somewhere in my inventory. Again, I don't know, it doesn't add up. But it says that the body has been defiled in more ways than one. Like, damn, Yoshi P, slow down with the rough storytelling, buddy. Twin Adder Captain finds this button on the corpse and now wants me to go see the innkeeper in New Gridania and see if she knows anything. Now starts a long line of questing where I bounce between 2,000 different people and none of them know anything about the sigil. Okay, maybe not that many times, but it's like 5 or 6 different people who don't know anything, and I get passed around like a blunt at a college party. Finally, one of the Lancer Guild peoples recognizes the button and points me in the right direction, and he's right around the corner. I mean, I'm not throwing stones, but like, streamline this, maybe, right? So now we talk to Ursandel, and he spills all the tea about how he was the manservant for the Lady Darton Cores. She was this horribly disfigured lady after the calamity, and she healed a little and she sealed herself off in a room and didn't want contact from the outside world, much like how I am with a massive bag of beef jerky and a free night to watch Magic School Bus. Is he serious, you may ask yourself?
Seatbelts, everyone!
Cruising on down Main Street,
Let's just say we had some adventures. Well, the lady started hosting masked men, guests, at her manor who performed rituals to keep her beautiful, and these rituals progressively got worse, and she started mutilating handmaidens and mutilating their faces to the point that they would die from their wounds. The manservant underwear got rid of the first body and then realized that he may actually be a bad guy. Here's a little character development tip. Almost all people who wear gloves regularly typically have something to hide. Just so you know. So now he asked me to end his lady's madness. No problem, let's go kill this weird face-sucking succubi. Easy, right? No. I make my way over to Hawk Manor, and I'm not sure it's how it's pronounced, but I've been calling it the Hawk Manor. I'm rambling through this area, and I notice that it's like snowing, there's intense music playing. Galactic starts spazzing out saying, "Odin is here, Odin is here." And it's just a Lalafell riding a little horse. How am I to take this guy seriously when he definitely looks like he asks for uppies to get up onto the bar? Well, Galactic explains that this is a primal elder and one of the more difficult bosses to fight in A Realm Reborn. But like, it's a Lalafell, so I do the only logical thing and throw an axe at it. And then I started running for my life. And this catching up to me very, very quickly. And then the Lalafell Heatseeker one-shots me. Doesn't also help that he's level 50 and I'm only level 36. Galactic informs me whoever gets the last killing blow on Odin will have their character model be the next Odin when he next spawns. Shortly thereafter, a group starts forming and we take down this little powerhouse. The fight goes basically how you would expect it. I sit on the sidelines throwing what I can and trying to figure out which particle effects are mine and which ones are the bad ones. I have no idea what's going on with these things. There's so many lights and sounds and all I'm doing is throwing a tomahawk. I'm not even sure what touched me, but I get one shot again. This happens like 14 more times. I can't even get to like full HP and Galactic's doing his best just to keep healing me. But this goes on for another 2 to 3 minutes of me instant dying and then not really being able to move. But we get Odin down and I get some sweet loot, apparently, that I can use when I get to max level. So I'm pretty stoked about that. We finally get to the dungeon and I need to deal with the Hawk Manor lady. Well, Galactic finally does something that I can pick on him for, and that is choosing the wrong dungeon. So here we are, again tanking through the 1,000 Maws, which I actually didn't mind doing again. My favorite thing from this leg of the journey was absolutely doing the dungeon content. I missed this for the longest time. And honestly, the group content in Guild Wars 2 wasn't engaging enough really for me, or at least I didn't feel so. So not only does it seem like this is super fun, but a lot of people are looking for a tank healer combo, and I like being able to fill out those roles. So we power carry this dungeon through the 1,000 Maws, and we do a solid for this character and not skipping over the cutscenes or trying to pull the final boss so the members miss out on the cutscene or the boss fight because I was being impatient. I actually truly loved upholding this aspect of the community, and I was pretty happy with it. We finish them out real quick, and then we head over to Hawk Manor like we were supposed to. Jeez, Galactic. First cutscene we get, and this dungeon looks absolutely awesome. It's got like the Transylvanian, super creepy dungeon zone, what have you. Like, I was thoroughly impressed. First group of mobs, and we get to see the maid servants, which are literally floating succubi that are wearing like bikini bottoms. This is pretty intense, not gonna lie. Well, Galactic tells me to keep pulling, and then he lets me die. So I do the big thing that is probably the most important part of any group content and blame a DPS for the tank or the healer's mistake. Absolutely. I steal back aggro and get the mobs to attack me, and then Galactic almost lets me die. Again, like what the hell is going on, man? I started regularly rotating my tank cooldowns to stay ahead of any excess damage I may take, but I was like not expecting the sharp increase of difficulty here, to be honest. Well, then it turns out that Galactic tells me that he didn't put a cardigan on, which like heals me as he deals DPS, so it was the healer's fault. I was right.
Daddy, chill.
So we traipse through this entire manor, jumping from place to place, fighting various skeletons and such until we arrive at last to Lady Amandine, the lord of the manor, which I should probably feel bad for saying this, but can the unholy forces of death and, you know, the void afford better clothing? Like, why is it always scantily clad women? Where is the practicality in that armor? Oh, right, she's a flying demon succubi that eats the faces of maidens. Right. So I behead this lady in the name of the holy light. Well, we finished the demon, and then we are faced with two masked Askian bred people. They were basically sent here to judge and observe my power. Like, they probably could have ended us by fighting us during the boss fight, and it's over, boom, no worries. Well, they suck themselves back into the black void, and my pink hand casually just walks on out. I think this is as
as good of time as any to review this leg of the journey and talk about one of possibly my favorite parts of the journey through A Realm Reborn. So in this chapter, we had a great time for something that I had missed for quite a while, and that was just really authentic group dungeon content. As I mentioned before in Guild Wars 2, I did mostly PvP, and I didn't spend really as much time in the PvE areas. That was probably because I was burnt out from all the years of playing specifically PvE content in World of Warcraft. Now, not to throw shade at Guild Wars 2 or World of Warcraft or anything like that, but Final Fantasy XIV has really hit that itch for me that I've been wanting to have for a long time. Being able to tank in a dungeon and have a group of players work all together with me felt amazing. On top of that, it wasn't necessarily a cakewalk. It wasn't super stressful to be sure, but if you're not paying attention, you can easily die from being overwhelmed, which added another layer of progression to really feel this vibe. I absolutely loved it. And then doing a world boss that we just happened to stumble upon was absolutely amazing. I died a lot, but I sure loved the thrill of discovery and taking him down with a massive group. It was just great. It was so much fun. As far as the story has been, it's been a bit slower, and it felt like this portion of the tale was just me chasing ghosts and other non-important things. Ramu the Primal and of the Cabbages really wasn't a threat, and then Askians causing trouble and disappearing into the dust is setting the stage for something I'm sure to be down the road, but honestly, I was just kind of like bored from all the amount of fetch and chit-chat quests compared to the bigger challenges I found either with my warrior questline or even fighting down a freak. Redeeming quality, in my opinion, has been the group content. Really, I apparently am almost all the way through the slowest part of A Realm Reborn story. So that should provide some of the framework of where I'm at, but the story should definitely pick up from here. Despite saying it's slow, it's actually been quite a long time since I sat down and just enjoyed playing a game at my own pace and understanding the story with all of its charm. So I don't even really view this as a negative. I previously unlocked my warrior in my last episode, going through the Marauder questline and growing in there, and you can check that video out right here. As always, stay caffeinated, folks.